Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back my channel. It's been quite a little while since I don't upload a new video, but I'm really doing my best, and for bringing you more videos and more often. Please, I encourage you that if you like them and if the content and my style or whatever, please subscribe, leave your thumbs up, and sharing it whatever you want. You can drop your comments too. I would like to know if you like it and you agree with these facts. Okay, so this is the resume what was about the reality show of Girls of the Playboy Mansion, and my review about it too. Okay, so you will see a light change in the next part of the video, because the first part of the video wasn't saved. I didn't save it properly with my cell phone. So I had to do the intro of the video. Again. Okay. The purpose of the show was showing out the Hugh Hefner lifestyle, as well as his girlfriends, Kendra, Holly, and Bridget of the first season. The reality show was divided in 6 different seasons. The 6th season was made with 3 different girls, and in one of the multiple parties she assisted in the Playboy Mansion, she caught Hugh Hefner's attention, and he immediately wanted to know who she was. He got close to her, they start talking, and at some point he invited her to come to move in the mansion to live with him and with the other 2 girlfriends.
Kendra was literally a painted girl for an event that was here at the mansion, and one of the fellows who was working on the body painted girls had printed a color photo of her that was sat on the printer, and Hef picked up the photo and wanted to know immediately,
Who's the girl? Mr. Hefner was very interested in the girl. I mentioned to Mr. Hefner she's down below getting body painted. He came down and looked at her, and she was just as gorgeous as she was in the photograph.
Hef comes up to me and he says, hi. I'm like shaking, I'm like, hi. And I was just so nervous. Like, I've never met a celebrity in my entire life. And then here Hugh Hefner is right in front of me. I definitely knew at that moment, I'm like, I want to move here, I want to have a relationship with her. So the moral is just don't leave pictures of the girl flying around. They could just be moving in. It's crazy. It's like a dream come true.
She was my favorite, Kendra. This is the way she joined the mansion in the show, and she was my favorite because she was the funniest girl. She was sometimes she was genuinely fun, and sometimes she didn't even plan to make us laugh, but she has some very accurate comments and funny at the same time. And she was also very young, which now that I'm an adult, because I used to watch this show when I was in my puberty. Now that I'm an adult and I see how young she was 18, I think, when she moved in the mansion, like before they start, making the show, because I think they made the show like a year after they met, Kendra, Bridget, and Holly. Just a year after Kendra joined the mansion. Kendra was from San Diego, California, and before she joined the mansion, I read in some Reddit comments of the Playboy Secrets forum, of some Playboy topic forums, that she was a stripper, which now gives me a little bit more of peace, because that makes me know that, or makes me think that she wasn't that innocent that much, for the show, or for dating this man that, he was already in his mid-70s, like Hefner could have been his grandfather, like very creepy. She was also kind of not very liked by the other 2 girls, Holly and Bridget. I got the feeling they were, because her age, like she was, I don't know exactly if she moved in the house when she was still 18 or she was already 19, but she was super young, super like, like now I remember when I was on that age, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, I felt like such an adult. And when you are in your early 30s, or late 20s, you start realizing that you were not an adult and not mature at all. You're like, well, I felt I was an adult at those times, but now I'm realizing I wasn't, because if I could, back in time, I will have done things differently, But for me, oh my God, she was super fun. She was super funny. For me, she was super funny.
Sharing one chair, I was surprised we all fit. They made us do that, and then we got out there and they go, Do you always sit like this?
Well, we like to be near to one another.
Excuse me, but who's the one who made us sit like this? And then they made a comment too about all of us having silicone breasts. And I'm very proud to say that my boobs are 100% natural, and that offends me.
I said to myself, I can't believe we're talking about stuff like this early in the morning.
They need boob jobs because they need help. They need reality checks. Yeah. You're right. Good idea.
She was very, active. Her personality wasn't bitchy at all. Even though that some women, even this young or at this age, they're bitchy already, or they're mean, kind of. They have this mean personality. She wasn't. Maybe because she was the last one chosen by Hef. But anyway, she was my favorite. The way she was selected, it was because she assists to multiple parties hosted in the Playboy mansion. But in one of those parties, in one occasion, like, she catch Hef's eyes, and he liked her immediately. Like, he say, "Who is the girl?" In fact, in the first episode, he's asking desperately, like, "Who is this girl? Who is this girl?" Like, he had a first sight crush with her. At some point of their relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, Hefner multiple girlfriends. Anyways, at some point he proposed her to move in the mansion to live with him and to film the show of Girls of the Playboy Mansion. I don't know exactly if she met Holly and Bridget already. I assume yes. Probably at some point they met each other, and Holly and Bridget approved she joined the mansion to live with him, or agreed that she joined the show with them, with the other two girls, Holly and Bridget. And anyway, she ended up moving in the mansion with Hefner, and she was the younger. Like, for me, it was a little bit creepy. Like, back in those days, it seems to be something very innocent. Like, maybe most of the people would think that she was just there, like, like as a part of the cast, in the mansion. But when you think about it, like, Hefner was in his mid-70s. So at this age, I think men still have sexual desire. That's what I have researched. They still have sexual activity. So I suppose that they probably have, not probably, it's very, very probable they do have, like, sex. But for me, it's just like, now that I'm an adult and I think about it, I'm like, what the fuck, like, she was 18. She was so little for him, like, immature, very young, very innocent still. But also, I was researching. I've been reading in forums, information about Kendra, about the three girls especially. And I read in one of the posts, in Reddit, that she was a stripper before she joined the Hefner's girlfriends. So it makes sense, And once you know that, then you know that she wasn't like that innocent or that, like, too young for him. Talking about, life experience, But for me, in my opinion, she was immature. Because she was still having this childish behavior, like, very childish behavior. But it was what made her funny, And I think the majority of her fans of Kendra were younger girls, like, maybe teenagers or girls in their 20s, while the fans of Holly and Bridget were older women, like, more mature. So that's why probably she was my favorite. And also, I think that these girls like Holly and Bridget, I don't like the fact that they have a podcast, right? Named Girls Next Door. I haven't really watched it that much, and I suppose that some people that were fans of the reality show of the Girls of the Playboy Mansion don't follow them, because maybe same as me, they were big fans of Kendra and really fans of her personality, or she was their favorite, like me, or my case, and maybe they're thinking the same than me, like, they were three, they should be more considerate with her, they should, like, maybe if they don't make the podcast together, because it's impossible, because they took different paths in life after the show end up. In fact, I think Kendra was the luckiest, getting married with this professional basketball player, Hank. I think that's his name. I remember I used to watch her reality show too when she was married, and when she moved out from the Playboy Mansion and started living with this guy and make this reality show of Kendra. I think it was just Kendra, and maybe that was, maybe they just have jealousy of her succeeding a little bit more than them, talking about the money, right? Because if you married with a basketball professional player, you will be wealthy, kind of, you know. So I don't know, but I always have the impression, and sometimes it was pretty obvious, like, you know, Bridget and Holly didn't hide that they were jealous about Kendra. um and indeed, like, they were like jealous of Kendra, you know, like, for some, I know which are the reasons. I'm not gonna say for some kind of reason. I'm gonna tell you which I think I consider will have been my reasons for not liking her as much as, you know, my other colleague or partner. And it was because, first of all, she was the youngest, you know. Second, the way she catch Hefner's attention, like, in the first chapter, there is one Hefner worker or photographer, I don't know exactly. He says he was so excited when he saw her. He was very, you know, like, interested and desperate for knowing who she was and whatever. So if the other guys realized how attracted he was for Kendra, probably since that moment it developed a jealousy, you know, because mm, I'm gonna touch the topic of the zodiac signs, you know. And these guys, the four, they were a weird mix because Holly was Capricorn. I mean, she's Capricorn because she's still alive, and, but Hefner was Aries, and Bridget was Libra, like me. We are very similar. I think that's why Bridget lasts for too long, even, you know, like, being the oldest, or sorry, the older one, because she was supposedly in her early 30s or late 20s when they launched the first episode of the first season. Guys, sorry if you hear noises, random noises from the street. I try to choose a quiet moment of the day, supposedly, but it's not. So I will just continue with the video, and please just ignore the random noises of my street, okay? So Bridget was Libra. She was very, you know, sociable, sympathetic, fun, sexy, flirting. Libra is the opposite of Aries, and I think she was playing mostly like the sex toy. I know it sounds a little bit misogyn, but she really seems to be just like Hefner, you know, like, yes, I'm a part of the cast, and yes, very sympathetic, and, you know, blah 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 blah. But I feel like she was like kind of his sexual game or toy, because she was very very like flirting with all the time with him, you know, like her ways, the way she was, like, she was super feminine. Like, Holly was prettier physically, you know, but Bridget was more like a flirter, you know, like, very, you know, like, princess kind of behavior, you know, like a Libra that is very feminine. And of course, an Aries guy will love this, you know, or this, or will like this a lot. So I also think Bridget was older than the age she stayed, or she used to say, or she appeared to be. But back with the topic of Kendra, her sign was Gemini. So Gemini is even more compatible with Aries than Libra, because Libra and Aries, we are opposite complementary, you know, like, we can be compatible, but Gemini and Aries is a whole other level of compatibility. They can even be best friends, you know, like, and the base for a solid relationship is, in fact, like, friendship first, you know, like, yeah, like a very deep compatibility, you know. And Holly was Capricorn. I know these dudes very much how they are, how they proceed, how they manage themselves, and they're very, like, ambitious, talking about this, about money, and they're very territorial. They're very jealous. They really want that their couples be just for them. Compared to an Libra and Gemini, Capricorns are way jealous and territorial, and, you know, just, yeah, competitive also, you know. After saying that, let's continue. No, wait a little bit. Let me finish with the Kendra topic. I get the feeling that by the way she catch Hefner's attention, like, probably Holly, especially Holly, because Holly knew him from a few years before Kendra, she probably saw her as a threat, of course, you know. I suppose that after, with the pass of the time, and with the pass of the months and years, maybe she realized that she was just there for having fun. She even stated, you know, she says, I'm here just for fun, I'm just here for partying. And I would say that she was there for money, mostly. Her excuse is fun and partying, which might be true because she's a Gemini, but I think obviously she was there for the money, you know, but not because she pretended to, you know, having kids with Hefner, which, that will be sick. Even with Holly, that will be like very weird, like sick, like, what the hell, you know, like, too much difference of age for having kids with this man. But after, you know, her statements and how Holly realized how Kendra really was, you know, like, she was just into her business and not planning to have not even a serious relationship with Hefner. Maybe it was when they finally opened up a little bit more with her. But another of the reasons why I think Holly didn't like Kendra, and therefore Bridget either, because I feel that also the show lasts for too long, because Holly manipulates Bridget, you know, at times, and at certain points, of the show and of their friendship. I get the feeling she manipulates her a lot because Gemini and Libra can be really, really good friends, can be really, really be best friends. They are super compatible. We all know that. The ones that know about astrology, we know that. So I got the feeling that Holly she was just there like in the middle, like, I got the feeling that her duty and her moves was, her plans was constantly sabotaging, like the relations of Hefner, mostly. I am not here to judge her. I don't hate her, but once you know about astrology, you know and you realize that that's pretty much the Capricorn nature. The Capricorn nature is just like when they have something in their minds, like a huge goal, like especially talking about, or when it comes about fame and money, they want to own it. They want to own it just for them. They just cannot share. They are not like air signs, like Bridget and Kendra. So I think she was even in advanced seasons, of the show, she was still jealous of Kendra. And also, I think she disliked her because she used to be very disorganized, very impunctual. Also, like Capricorns tend to hate that terribly, they hate, sorry, they hate impunctual people. I know it as a fact. I have had like 2 Capricorn boyfriends, ex-boyfriends.
Kendra really needs to get a secretary because she's really scatterbrained as far as being in the right place at the right time, or being on time, or remembering she has to do something. Sometimes we're stuck in a situation where Hef is like, "Where's Kendra?" And I'm like, "Well, I told her a million times," and it doesn't matter. Hef will get grumpy with me. "Why didn't you tell Kendra that we're leaving at such and such a time?" And I'm like, "I did." So that's not that comfortable. Look at this big over here. I don't know, they're both busting out. Perfect big.
They don't like disorder. Like if you saw the show, they don't like disorder. Like if you saw the show, you will realize that Kendra used to have a mess in her bedroom. In fact, in the last season, when they move out of the mansion, she has such a mess in her bedroom. Like it's even creepy. It's even like weird. Like, how can a human being can live like this? Like in such a mess, of clothing and accumulated things, because she used to be an accumulator too.
Game plan. I'm definitely gonna need some help. Kendra? No. Oh, jeez, I didn't even see you. You're fixing in there. Oh my god. Oh, jeez. I don't think it's that much stuff. Ay, ay, ay. I should have taken a week off of work. This is gonna take forever. You want to start? Wow. This is gonna be crazy. I have so much stuff in my room. It's gonna take millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of boxes. It's gonna be crazy. Here's the game plan. I think what we should do is make a little space, and then we're gonna go through stuff and get rid of stuff that you're me. I haven't cleaned or been through my room in so long. I don't know what I'm gonna throw away and what I'm gonna keep.
Well, does it?
I know, that's what we need. Oh my god. Are you really gonna take all these crap?
They even need to hire people to help them, Kendra and her mother, to pack up her stuff, because it was just too much. So I suppose I can be sure dislike Holly very much, as well as her impuntuality, and as well as how she wasn't very tied up, like her personal production, right? Like she wasn't very, very girly. She wasn't very like, she, compared to Bridget and Holly, she didn't put too much effort in her personal, like dressing up, her personal makeup, presentation. She was a little bit more lazy, So I got a feeling this was what used to piss off Holly the most. And Bridget was more like, kind of neutral, she was more like into her business, but she used to be managed by Holly big time. Like you can tell about it, Probably she used to tell her like, she used to use the argument that she was old already, for the show, like kind of older compared she and Kendra, and the other girls that used to be invited to the parties. But let's continue. The resume of this show was, or the goal, the main reason was, showing off Hefner lifestyle along as his girlfriends, and like taping, recording the parties that the mansion held, especially thematic parties of beer dates, Halloween parties, Playboy, what was the name of this episode? Playboy mission, kind of like many parties, like Playboy jazz events, Playboy fight nighttime. This is a very special episode, the Playboy fight. The fight nighttime episode, because in this episode, it was the first time that Holly, the official, or the main girlfriend, and one of the most important, Hefner girlfriends of the past, met, which is Barbie Benton. She really seems to be very special for him. She was Aquarius, so Aries and Aquarius are very compatible. They have many years, a very, very long relationship. I think they did married, in fact, in Europe, I think. But it was the episode when they met. The fight night episode is when Holly and Barbie met. And Holly really seems nervous. She kind of saw, or used to see, Barbie Benton as a threat also, which is kind of ridiculous, because she was just, like she say herself, like she's just too old right now for, like, nowadays for her, right? And she was, but I don't know, I think she just didn't like her. They didn't like each other. Like, you can tell the tension since they're like having breakfast, lunch in
Out with anybody over 24. And he said, neither have I. And looking at this table, he still hasn't.
When I met Barbie, she was like really focused on her age. She was like, so how old are you guys? Hef doesn't date anybody over 24.
Hef took a liking to me. We hit it off the first date.
Barbie is the one who found this house.
Oh, really? Good job. Do you really want to crack up? Bought this place for $1.2 million. And he did not think it was big enough. And that's because the living room in the Chicago mansion was 4 times as big. You had the pool table there. That had some action. That went over your head. Remember who's playing?
I assume that they didn't click because maybe Holly was expecting to see a super glamorous woman, coming through that door. And Barbie just show up, like, dress up, like, regularly, like, very, like, whatever. Like, she probably wasn't what she expected to see as one of the most important, like, Hefner girlfriends. And probably she didn't like it. And on the other hand, Barbie saw the whole other opposite side of what Holly saw in Barbie. Like, Barbie, she probably saw her as somebody very, very, like, produced, like, exaggeratedly glamorous. And probably she, knowing how Aquarius are, she probably interpreted it as a very materialistic woman, a very, material girl, or very ambitious, and they just crash, they didn't click at all. Like, you can cut the tension in that, breakfast with a knife, and also in the boxing fighting that they host in the mansion. They're seated next to each other, like, Holly is obviously this is a Capricorn thing, obstructing the their, that they be together, being in the middle. And at the end, almost at the end, they switch seats so they can keep talking, because it's just very uncomfortable. But they didn't click. It's very obvious, because these signs are not very compatible, kind of, at all. Like, Aquarius and Capricorn are way too different. Like, Aquarius are very, like, spiritual, kind of, and Capricorns are very, like, down to earth, but very realistic, very materialist, very, like, about money. They love money. Very, like, of appearances too, but deep in their hearts, under that armor that covers their hearts, under that shell, there is a little heart there. But I don't know, they just don't click. And I got a feeling that was one of the reasons why the show didn't end up in good terms when the first 3 girlfriends move out, and when Hugh Hefner switched them for younger girls, and for these 3 girls, like Christia and Chrissy is her name. I will make another video talking about this season and the last one, the 6th season. But I got a feeling that the relationship between Barbie and Hefner, and the bad relationship between Barbie and Holly, create, like, was what, produced that they end up in bad terms, because that was very obvious, like, but back with the topic on how the girls joined the show, let's continue with Holly, and how the way she met Hefner was, in one of the parties he hosted in in 2001. And by what I read is that Holly was in very bad money issues. You know, she has economic debt. Like she was in debt with with a credit or multiple credit cards. I don't know exactly, but she was, you know, broke kind of. So obviously when she met him, she just decided to stick with him, you know, hashtag Capricorn thing, and make of her relationship a business, you know. And you know, like their very solid relationship or attraction, you know, because they were very compatible at some point at the start of their relationship, and they are at the start in the first episodes of the series. You can tell they were super compatible, which start changing in the last seasons. You can tell the difference how they stop being compatible, which was not the case of Kendra. Like Kendra, she was compatible with him from beginning to end. Like they even end up being friends, still being keep friends and whatever. So Holly was the prettiest in my opinion, physically, and very attractive. She was very like a professional also. She was very structured, punctual. She was, you know, like very ambitious, and the way she also helped Hefner, you know, with the selection of the playmates, as well as she assists and help with the magazine edition in multiple times. Like we could all witness how she worked for the branch also and you know, for the magazine. She was just very useful for him, you know, also not just like a physical presence, but very useful and helpful, you know. I suppose that she organized or she planned many of the episodes, you know. I can sell it for sure. That's my intuition. And Bridget, well, she met him even before Holly and Kendra. They have this sexual chemistry that, you know, opposite signs have. But also I think she used her charismatic personality, and because I have read it in multiple comments on Reddit, you know, about her friendly, sociable personality, not territorial, not of jealousy at all. Wait guys, let me improve a little bit more the illumination. Hold on a second. Done. So, and also the way like she didn't represent a threat for Holly is what keep her, you know, around. Because talking about her age, like I don't know, but she looked older at the age she stated she was, right? um, and so in resume, these are the highlights. This is the resume about this reality show. That was the main goal, you know, like making a show of Kev's life and the parties the mansion held. I think it was to improve Hugh Hefner's image. You know, I get the feeling that he has like some, you know, corpses, you know, some skeletons in his closet. I mean, he used to have, because he passed away like some years ago. I think it was 2017 when he passed away, or 2018, but I think it was 2017. So I got the feeling that he has, like I say, he has skeletons in her closet, like DB, you know, by the kind of parties he used to help. And also I saw a Spanish from Spain YouTuber video of a guy that talks about, you know, the dark secrets of Playboy, which left me a little bit disappointed because I'm a fan of the brand. But he says some, you know, disturbing things. Like, I mean, not disturbing, but things that, you know, that are like similar to DB accusations. So I think he decided to launch the show to keep his image clear, you know, and for having a good image, you know, of him and his branch, because probably like some people start, you know, coming out with these rumors or dark secrets that the mansion held in him. And anyways, like for closing this video, and I will keep doing a couple more about summer facts of this reality show and the girls, and also the girls of the 6th season. But I want to close this video saying that I don't follow their podcast because I think Kendra was a big part of this show for me. I mean, I'm saying this maybe just because she was my favorite, but for me, honestly, she was a cherry of the cake because she was super fun, you know, and they need to give her more credit, you know. Like in their show, they have this podcast program and they have their YouTube channel about Girls Next Door. They should give her more credit, you know. They should mention her more in a good way, you know, not in a bad way at all. Like, oops, sorry, you know, like, and being like more positive about her, because she wasn't really a threat for Holly. She was just really party outgoing, very neutral, very not territorial at all, you know, friendly, partying, and the soul of the party. Even when Bridget is my zodiac sign and I like her a lot too, for me she was kind of quite a little bit more hypocrite than Kendra. Kendra was more, transparent. And I think these girls need to give her more credit, Kendra, even when her life took a totally different pathway, for me it was special seeing them together. And they were a team, like they need to give her more credit. She was the favorite of many of us, and most of us watched the show for her. And I think that without her, the show wouldn't have been the same, honestly. The show just might have been quite a little bit more boring or whatever. So anyways, I hope you like this video. If you reach till this part of the video, if you get this long, it's because you probably like it. So please, I encourage you to leaving your thumbs up, sharing it, and subscribe, okay? And please stay tuned for the next videos. Please don't forget subscribing, sharing, and leaving your thumbs up, okay? Goodbye.